Hey, clip shit. This video is for you. I'm just wondering, you think you're forgiven for what you did to disabled veterans, disabled children, and some children in general? You're not forgiven. It's not forgotten. You will be answering very soon for those. I know you've been quiet, and so haven't I. Let the narratives go on as they wish, as they are. It's kind of humbling seeing the situation as it's falling. It's kind of humbling seeing how individuals come against one another. Because you know what? It's not going to change. You can only ride a Bronco so long. Either you break the Bronco or the Bronco outlasts you. And in this particular situation, the Bronco keeps on getting people off of its back. Because the real narrative, is never put out there. Because falsified narratives are not proven with truthful data. And one of your key main players will never know what you actually did to that individual. They'll never know that you were willing to sacrifice that individual to take the fall for so many things. Although, I believe that individual is aware that there are things that he or she doesn't know, they're not aware of. Because let's be truthful, you're not going to speak about it, and I'm not going to speak about it. And that person's never going to know. But let's make one thing clearly understandable. When a team tries to ride a Bronco and the team members assault one another on any game board, or adult playground, as I call it, and team members keep on fighting amongst themselves, guess what? Eventually, they're going to consume each other's truthfulness. And that has transpired here. Everyone has their different narratives. Everyone has their different formations of facts and data. It can be what it can be. But let us always understand, when you're willing to give up your original teammates, your original friends, for clicks, views, fame, and money, it never is prosperous. Because what you initially sought to protect, whatever it may be, a missing child, a murder victim, the families involved, whatever you originally tried to protect will ultimately be sacrificed. And that is what has happened here. The protection of those that any side or any adult tried to protect in this situation has been overcome by greed, click, views, fame, or that quick response, I want answers now. That's not the way it works. You have to be patient. You have to stick with what is truthful. And guess what? You cannot sacrifice others in order for you to be prosperous or successful. Remember, if you are in it for the truth, if you are in it for the facts, it's not about how quickly you acquire fame, how quickly you acquire clicks, views, or money. That's not what it's about. It's about the original protection, the foundation that you stated in the beginning that it was about, whatever it may be, whether it be the truth to protect that victim, the family, the police department, yourself, if you continuously fight amongst those that were part of original group and members of that group were willing to sacrifice you as the ultimate prosecutor of any individual, including the original foundation of truth that you yourself represented, then you have failed. All of you have failed. That is what is sad, is that no one was willing to be patient. Hello, how you doing?
Well, yourself.
I'm doing good.
Good to hear.
Thank you very much. So, excuse me, someone spoke to me. So you need to understand what was the original promise? What was the original factual evidence? Well, it was the protection of a missing victim. It was for the protection of the freedom of speech. It was, those are two major things there. It was the harassment, coercion of being arrested. It was ADA rights. It was the mistreatment of veterans, disabled veterans, or their particular family members. But everyone wanted a quick fix. We wanted a quick fix from law enforcement. We wanted a quick fix from attorneys. We wanted a quick fix from courtrooms. We wanted a quick fix from law enforcement. There's no quick fixes. They're not there. And if you think a quick fix is going to be a band-aid on a major problem or a team of individuals, which many team members know each other before. They've known each other 4, 5, 7 years. And they added new team members who have been sacrificed. They have, on both sides, on any side. But the true victims and the family members, in any case, what's sad is those family members have been sacrificed. None of the lawsuits have settled anything, and they're not going to. They're not going to be given answers. They're not going to provide a quick fix, because any lawsuit will take time. Sometimes 2 to 7 years, 2 to 8 years. And while everyone's doing these lawsuits and everything, here's the problem. The missing will still be missing. The family members will still be having pain. The individuals who are involved with harassing people who have tried to commit suicide in the CIT programs are not being used correctly. They're still going to be assaulted. They're still going to be humiliated. And their rights are still going to be taken away from them. Because law enforcement in various pockets of various states are not going to adhere to the civil rights of the CIT intervention programs. And what's going to be sad is if victims are watching what is going on YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, if they're watching all the ugliness and they ask a question to someone, hey, I don't want to return to that. Why are they doing that to me? And you give a truthful answer to a victim, hey, they're doing it for themselves. When you allow anyone to run down a victim, their dignity, their name, their personality, their life struggles, their life events and their person in general, and you do not stand up for that individual, and then you're on a YouTube live or you're on X and you say nasty things about a victim, guess what? You're not an advocate for that victim. You are actually just taking, it's like when you smoke and you throw your butt on the street or the sidewalk or whatever, and you take your shoe and you just grind it. Sometimes you just grind it till you make a mark, a black mark across the pavement. That's what you're actually doing to that victim. It's not funny, and it's very degrading to that victim. So I want you to think about something this afternoon or this evening. When you're on these lives and when you're speaking your truth, think about this truth. The victims could be watching. The victims are knowledgeable enough, if they're alive, to understand what is being stated about their names. What is being stated about what happened to them. And you know who has the real truth? The real truth? None of us have the real truth, just the victims. The victims have the real truth. And if they do not want to participate in the bullshit that has been created around their names, around their dignity, around their religious preferences, around their family members, guess what? They don't have to participate. But their voices are the real truth, not anyone else's. And until a victim is willing to speak up, then the truth is really not stated. But understand this. No matter how quickly anyone acts into a court proceeding on behalf of anyone, it's not going to matter. Because in the end, if any victim returns, it's going to be that victim's truth that will be heard. Not a he or she statement, not a masquerade against law enforcement or a state agency or a federal agency. The truth will only be spoken by the victims themselves. And if you believe you are a victim, which you may be, who knows? Who knows your truth? But a victim of a true crime, a planned crime, those are the victims I'm truly talking about. And when you make fun of those victims, understand it will come back into a complete circle. Never assume anything is truthful unless if you have the data, information, hard copies. I'm talking about real life hard copies, investigative reports where you can put everything together. And never assume that someone being quiet or not going out and participating in bullshit doesn't mean they're non-existent, because that's not true. Victims could be in those bushes, as YouTube calls them, and they could be watching. And they could be getting their strength together, the encouragement to come out and speak. We all just have to be patient. It's not a side. And if you have any sides, it should be just for that victim. And if you're willing to hang that victim up on a crucifix, there's a big problem there. Use your own conscience. Just be safe for yourself and those that you care for and love. Because Sometimes people allow their hatred, dislike, and the pressure from others to determine their behaviors. It's just the way it is. Be safe.